Hello there parents, this is the Cairo Class curriculum information. So this is Mrs Hargreaves. I'm going to talk you through the curriculum information for year one. As you know, things are a little different, so we're unable to do the face-to-face meeting. So as you can see, that's me, Mrs Hargreaves, and Miss Paul. We work alongside each other in year one. She's an excellent teaching assistant. She will be supporting myself along with the children and their teaching and learning. So before I go into talking about what happens in year one, I just wanted to say that the children have been absolutely amazing. They've settled in really well. Myself and Miss Paul have had a great time getting to know the children. We've had lots of laughs, lots of chatting, lots of giggles, lots of catching up with what everybody's been up to. So I just wanted to say that the PowerPoint that you're going to listen to has got a lot of information, and I don't want you to panic or worry over what you hear. These are the things that are going to happen across year one over the next year. So don't panic thinking at the moment, oh, my child can't do that or they can't do this. This is what's going to happen over the coming year. And as you're aware, across the school, the children have had lots of time at home recently. So myself and Miss Paul will be working on building that confidence and independence back into school life and getting used to school routines, getting to know each other, starting to get to know where the children are with their learning. And then from there, myself and Miss Paul will move the children on, and with your help and support as well, we will get the children through the year one, that they make the progress that they need to for this year. So please don't panic. There will be an opportunity for you to ask some questions at the end. Once you've listened to the PowerPoint, you'll be able to, if there's any desperate sort of questions, you can email in, or you can catch myself or Miss Paul at the door if it's a quick one. We can answer any questions that need to be answered. But please don't panic, there's lots of information. Take it all in, and this is all the information for the year that you will need. So first of all, we're going to go through the key aims for year one. So promoting independence and encouraging that. Ensuring that each child has a smooth transition from reception to year one. Developing skills across the curriculum with a focus particularly on phonics and handwriting, English, maths and science. And developing speaking and listening skills and teamwork through the whole curriculum. So one of the key skills that we want to empower in year one with the children will be independence, both in their actions and in their thinking. So thinking about becoming independent, children have to be confident in their own abilities. Some will remain over-reliant on the support of us, the adults, and sometimes their friends. So confidence grows through opportunities to try new things in a safe and supportive environment, with lots of positive reinforcement, especially for their success, and strategies and help to support any failures that they may have along the way. And that will be mine and Miss Paul's job, to ensure that we create that environment and provide those chances for the children to try these new things and develop their skills. Children are on the whole very resourceful and very resilient, and when left to their own devices or given opportunities to be independent, they often surprise us, as I'm sure that you are very aware. So as practitioners, we need to ensure that not only creating an environment and planning activities that are teaching children fundamental skills, but that we're giving them opportunities to put those skills into practice on their own too. And that can even be something as simple as gathering the resources that they need for their group tasks, It can be something as simple as even just being able to remember the things that they need to collect to go home at the end of the day. In year one, we will continue with phonics, just as they did in reception. We will continue to review the sounds that they've already learnt, and we will be learning new sounds. As you can see, you will receive those sounds in the spelling each week, and we have provided you now with the little green and yellow books for you to practice the sounds that we have been learning. The children should have told you that the dated ones are the ones that we've learnt for that week, and they're the ones for you to focus on. They're more than likely running alongside the spelling homework that you'll be getting that week. So in year one, also at the end of the year, there is the phonics screening test. So it's very important that the children are continuing to practice and focus on those sounds and that spelling homework that we have been sending home, and practicing lots of reading all the time. I will talk a little bit more about the phonics screening as the curriculum information goes on. We will be focusing on handwriting and presentation. Children should be able to sit correctly at the table, holding a pencil comfortably and correctly. They should be able to start forming lowercase letters in the correct direction, starting and finishing in the right place. So that is using the phonics rhymes that go with the individual sounds to help them and support them write the lowercase letters correctly. They'll begin to form capital letters. This is something you can work on at home, forming the lowercase letters and the capital letters, using the rhymes in the phonics for the lowercase letters. Children will need to be able to form digits 0 to 9, so writing the numbers, and also understanding which letters belong to which handwriting family. So for examples, letters that are formed in a similar way, and we'll practice those. We use a program called pupils, which will help us and support us in practicing those skills that need to be developed. This is something that you can practice at home, writing their name, beginning to write sentences, identifying lowercase letters and capital letters in writing and reading that you're looking at together. So the aims for year one in English, firstly we'll be thinking about spoken language. So we'll be focusing on having confidence in being able to participate in discussions and presentations, performances, role play, dramas, debates, and listening to those that are responding to those debates and being able to justify answers, arguments, and give opinions. We will be thinking about reading, applying that phonic knowledge that we know, as well as reading common exception words, those words that we are unable to decode. We will be thinking about comprehension, so developing that pleasure in reading, the motivation to read, and having that vocab and understanding by listening to and discussing a wide range of poems, stories, non-fiction, to which that they can read independently, that they will have the confidence to participate again in discussion about what's being read to them, so listening to people read to them and taking turns and listening to what others say and explain clearly their understanding of what's being read to them. In writing, we'll be thinking about the spelling, so focusing on those phonics that we will be teaching and what they already know, thinking about common exception words, those trickier words, the days of the week, naming letters in order in the alphabet, and thinking again about the capital letters and the lowercase. Handwriting and presentation is something I've previously talked about, so sitting correctly, holding a pencil correctly, and being able to form letters correctly, as well as digits also. Composition, so writing sentences by saying out loud what they want to write, thinking orally, before writing it, and sequencing sentences to help them write simple sentences. And we encourage rereading what they've written back to check that things make sense. Vocab, grammar and punctuation. So we will be focusing on developing their understanding of the concepts set out in English. So leaving spaces between words, joining words and joining clauses using and, beginning to use the capital letters and full stops, thinking about question marks, exclamation marks, which are things that you can point out when you're reading with your children, using the capital letter for names, people, places and days of the week. And you can start to talk about these things now when you're reading. So the topics for maths in year 1 include exploring calculation strategies within 20, numbers 50 to 100 and beyond, money, multiplication and division, length and mass, addition and subtraction within 20, shape and patterns, time. There is a lot of subjects that we'll be focusing on this year. They will include things like reading, writing and telling the time to o'clock and half past. We will be doubling and halving, comparing and measuring lengths and mass, using known facts to add and subtract, one more and one less, and representing numbers within 20 and 50 and beyond, identifying patterns and finding change when using money. In science, we will be focusing on being able to work scientifically, so asking questions, observing closely, identifying and classifying. We will be gathering and recording data to help answer questions. We'll be looking at plants, animals including humans, everyday materials and seasonal changes. Speaking and listening will be something that we'll be focusing on in year 1. Listening requires the skill of focusing and attention on the speaker to be able to hear and understand what the speaker is saying, and speaking skills require you to take turns, speak confidently and to be able to stay on topic and speak with clarity. So as I spoke before about those previous subjects, you can see all of those things and that I have talked about that we will be focusing on will help to develop those skills of speaking, listening and teamwork throughout the curriculum. So the year 1 curriculum. So at St Mary's we have a cross-curricular approach to the teaching and learning. So for example, those skills that I talked about previously on the previous slide, we will be looking for in all of the lessons. So for example, when writing in history, geography and science, we'll still be looking for those key skills that I talked about for speaking and listening. For English, looking out for those capital letters, finger spaces, capital letters for names and places, etc. We're continuing with the Read, Writing, Phonics and Spelling programme that I talked about previously, and also all the maths topics that I talked about are from the Maths Mastery programme that we follow at St Mary's. In year 1, again, as I talked about, there's a real push on the phonics in the lead up to the phonics screening, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. Continue to read lots at home, reading to each other, you reading to them reading to you, looking at various types of poems, stories, non-fiction, all sorts of books, and highlighting things like guides and maps and things that you get at places that you visit, having a look at those, looking at all sorts of types of reading opportunities that you can share together to encourage and give the children that motivation to want to read and look at books and have interest in finding out facts, etc. So onto the phonics screening check. It is a way for myself to ensure that the children are making sufficient progress in their phonics skills for them to be able to read words, and that they're on track to become fluent readers who enjoy reading for pleasure and for learning. So the phonics screening check is taken individually by the children and is usually taken around June or July time. It's designed to give teachers and parents information on how the children are progressing in phonics. So it will help to identify whether your child needs additional support at this stage. It's 2 sections, and in this it has a 40-word check, and it assesses phonics skills and knowledge learned through reception in year 1. So your child will read up to 4 words per page to myself, and it will probably take around 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a school-based check to make sure that they receive additional support promptly should your child need it. It's not a stressful situation. We call them quizzes at St Mary's, and at the end of the quiz the children will get a little treat from myself. So it checks that your child can sound out and blend graphemes in order to read simple words. It checks that they can read phonically decodable 1-syllable and 2-syllable words. So, for example, cat, sand, windmill. It will check that they can read a selection of nonsense words. Okay, so nonsense words are those words that you can read, but they are not real words. So on the PowerPoint, you can see some real words and some nonsense words. So, for example, vap, vap, vap. You can sound it out, you can read it, but it's not a real word. So here is the Year 1 yearly overview. These are the topics that we will be looking at over the year: Amazing Africa, Amazing Animals, Space Transport, Wonderful World and Traditional Tales. So all of those topics that I talked about and all of those subjects I talked about previously, the English, geography, history, science, all of those things will be built in around these topics. So here is the Year 1 timetable. So it gives you a rough idea on what goes on our daily routines. At the moment, as you're aware, things are a little bit different because the children have been away from school for some time. So this isn't currently happening as it looks like here. With my early years experience, I am supporting the children into their transition into Year 1, and currently we're introducing the maths and the phonics and English in the mornings, and we're just starting to have a go at the extra subjects here and introducing those over the next few weeks to get used to the daily routine and how these lessons and sessions look in Year 1. As I just talked about, the timetable isn't currently running as it looks just here at the moment. So in between all these sessions of maths and English and art and science, we're having lots of circle time, lots of time to chat and build on that confidence in speaking and listening. We're having some free flow time, so the children have had the opportunity to share and play and get back to those relationships, building on those relationships and friendships within their class, as we haven't seen each other for such a long time. And these sessions are really important because it's giving them confidence in being back in school, getting to know one another again, building on that speaking and listening, and understanding how the adults in the room work, and to listen and follow any instructions when given them by the adults. On to home learning. So in Year 1, it's based around reading and spelling. So each child is set a day where their books will be changed, and we aim to hear every child read at least once a week. So the children will start to learn what day they are reading to the adults and what day their books are changed, and we want them to become independent learners and be able to tell you what days they will be reading on and what day they will have their books changed. We ask that you aim to read with your child every night and write a comment in their reading records on how they are getting on and what your thoughts are on the story that you've shared together. Each book should be read a minimum of twice, and the children will need their books and their reading records in their bags every day for something which we call ERIC, which is every child reading in class. Okay, so everybody reading in class together. We do that every day. The children are sitting at their tables and they have a go at reading their books independently, at least twice. And at that time, myself and Miss Paul are listening to the daily readers. So if you're a Wednesday reader, for instance, on Wednesday we'll have that group of children, their books will be changed and we will listen to them read. As well as the reading, each week the children will be sent home with their little red spelling books, which you've received already, with something that looks like what's on the PowerPoint, the sound detective. So we aim to teach a new sound each week, and it will be there for you on a Friday and returned the following Friday. We ask it to be returned the following Friday. So there will be a sound for you to practice, and you can have a go at thinking of some words with that sound in, and then have a go at writing some simple sentences using those words that you have thought of. And they need to be returned every Friday, and we'll give you a new one every Friday. I will also be adding some tasks to Read I Writer, which you can complete some extra phonics learning on if you wish. To access Read I Writer, it's the same password as your Mathletics password. And lastly, for home learning is the spelling challenge, which is something that happens across all year groups at St Mary's. These are the spellings of common exception words. These are trickier words that we can't sound out. These are the words that we just have to learn by sight and we see in our everyday reading. So at the end of each half term, there will be a spelling quiz. So we come to the end of the PowerPoint, and this is just some general reminders. So PE days is Wednesday and Friday. Show and tell is on a Thursday. The dates are on the window, and I often put them in the newsletter on a Friday. Please ensure that every item of uniform is named. We've lost lots already, including PE kit, and I'm not quite sure how it's happening because we're in our own bubbles. We're on a allocated part of the playground at playtimes, the same place every day, and we're not mixing with anybody else and coming back to the classroom. So the only two places are the playground and the classroom that they can go missing, and I'm not finding anybody's lost uniform because lots of it is not named. Please help by naming everything that you have. Please bring a named bottle of water. This would help. We do have cups in the classroom and they're sterilised in the dishwasher, but we often take our water bottles out at playtimes, and the children are getting very thirsty during the day. They're very busy at the moment and the weather's been particularly nice. So please can the children bring a bottle of water that is named? That would be very handy, thank you. Look out for the Year 1 notices via emails, newsletters or on a board during pick-up time. This has been very different recording this for you guys and not having a face-to-face meeting, because when I'm talking there would be opportunities for you to kind of put your hand up and ask questions on the spot there and then. So if there's anything that you want to ask, please use the staff at email and I will get back to you as soon as I can. We're very busy at the moment, so if it's really important, something that you really want to know, use the staff at. And if it's a question, a quick question, I'm quite happy myself and Miss Paul to socially distance, see you outside the classroom in the morning or at the end of the day. Thank you, and see you all soon.